Excuse me, we'd like you to have this flower.
Excuse me, sir, would you...
Donation to the Reverend Moon?
Jews for Jesus? Oh!
Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism?
Help Jerry's kids? Oh, yeah. Scientology?
Or nuclear power?
Ooh, yeah. That flag. Looking fly nice.
Come on, Giant Asteroid 2024.
Oh, no, I kind of like living.
What are you, some kind of dinosaur?
No, I'm a human.
That reminds me, I'm writing the scripts for Comics Division's Anthropology Today.
But you identify as
The funny thing is they're all paleontology jokes.
Well, I get to reface you on Indiana Jones. So. Hey, it's Randall. I bet Randall says something derogatory about me somewhere in the chat. Oh, there it is. Toxic Man Flu's a DEI hire, isn't he?
Yep.
Yes.
I mean, who else is going to hire a flu virus?
We needed a certain number of bitches.
Yep.
That's right. Talks is super freaking gay and lame. See, when culture is near, I catch it on the chin. Which sounded a whole lot better before it came out of my mouth.
It certainly
Which that
did.
also sounded better before it came out of my mouth. John Edgar. Good looking and dapper toxic. Yes. Oh, nope, can't say that. That's actually listed as a plus for Kamala.
Because you know what? Fear has been infectious in this country, but courage can be contagious
I forgot
too.
to update
That too
the
is what it
intro.
means to be an American.
But this
I
is
like
fine.
This part. This
I
is
do too.
cool. Vivek had one of the best speeches at the
And you know
RNC.
what? If you're at home and you disagree with everything I just said, our message to you is this. We will still defend to the death your right to say it, because that is who we are as Americans. We are the country where we can disagree like hell and still get together at the dinner table at the end of it. That is the America I know. That is the America we miss. We do not have to be ancient Rome.
Look at those
We
white
don't have to be
supremacists
this
cheering on
nation in
Vivek
decline.
Ramaswamy.
We
I
can
know.
still be a nation in our ascent.
It's because he's wearing the
A
same
nation
blue
whose
tie.
best
Well, you know,
days,
he's
not
a
some
brown
fake
white
politician way,
supremacist, so
but in a
that's
true
why they
way,
love
a
him so
nation
much.
whose
The brown
best
face of
days
white
are
supremacy.
actually
Yes.
still ahead of us. Still on
You
our
know-
way to that shot.
You know,
that
that
City
describes a
That
racist
country
asshole, don't you?
Where no matter who you are, or where your parents came from,
For every time
or
I
what
hear
your skin color is,
something that doesn't agree
or
with
how
the
long
left
your last
is
name
all
is.
right. I've heard that so many times now. I'm like,
that you will
dude,
still get ahead
if
in
y'all,
this country
if y'all raise
with your
everything you
own
don't
hard
agree
work,
with, that's a very
your own
diverse
commitment,
thing.
your own dedication, and that you know what? You are free to speak your mind at every step of the way. That is the American dream. That is what
Now I
won
just want to
us
make
the
the
American
brown eye
Revolution.
white supremacy
That is
joke
what
because of
reunited
Tox.
us after the
Sorry.
Civil War.
That's all right.
That is what won us 2 world wars and the Cold War. That is what still gives hope to the
Vivek's
free
just
world.
being an Uncle
And if we can
Bindu.
revive that dream
Oh,
over
there it
group
is.
identity and victimhood and grievance,
Uncle
then
Bindu and
nobody in
anti-culture?
the world, not a nation,
Yes.
not a corporation, not a virus, not China, is going to defeat us.
China.
That is what American exceptionalism is all about. And that is what we will
I don't know,
revive
syphilis
this
came
November
pretty close.
when we send Donald J. Trump
Just saying.
back to the White House.
God, Wilton being blown up just is so satisfying.
Just a tad.
Conspiracy theories, they're all around me. Government lies, they're spreading like flies. Misinformation, they want us blind, but I won't be fooled. I'm not standing in line. It's on the screen and online. It's hard to believe what is the lies. They're twisting the truth.
Is this all Charles 7?
What's that?
Is that Charles 7?
No, this is Suno.
Oh no.
Most of the lyrics are written by me. Most.
Still. You have this boat. Wood, man.
Heels up.
Heels up for
Camel.
Harris. Camel toe, maybe.
Well,
That's
she picks
honestly-
booty judge.
Booty juice.
Booty juice to be.
Venn diagram of what Kamala Harris should keep closed.
Yeah.
The overlap is the border and her legs.
I was gonna say her mouth.
Comics is a cockster.
So, guys, you know how I love watching The View because it's on my TV downstairs. And they had Adam Schiff on today. And do you know what they're talking about?
I'm going to take one
don't
guess.
know.
J6.
No. Go ahead, Brandon.
It was Trump.
Kamala.
No, Kamala, yes.
Oh, they're cool.
Yeah, it was funny because they're already starting the narrative of sexism and racism around Kamala. Yes. Yeah, naturally. This is the I think they're going to try, and this may work on a few people, not a lot, just a few. They're going to start the if you don't vote for Kamala, you're sexist, racist. So they're going to be using moral blackmail to try and drum up support for this complete fucking retard.
Yay!
Yeah.
Complete retard 2024.
Indeed. And
They're
her running mate.
trying to rehab her.
Yeah, they are. Oh my God. We'll cover that. Yes, I'm sure she'll be having Booty Juice as her vice president. Yeah. Anyway, here's the rest of the panel. How are you guys doing?
Hi.
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 Good.
Hi.
Hi. I wish I was at this
I
point.
got a new hat.
I see that, and you have hair. Look at
I
that.
have hair for
Yeah,
the
it's
first
orange.
time
That
since I was
hair.
18.
Right. It's fantastic.
Yep.
Nice
You,
little
you do
Great
need to
hair.
dye the beard and goatee orange to match the hair.
Yeah.
And comb them over. You need to have like
Yeah.
just grow like as much
I
beard
tried
as
to
you can on
comb it
one
over.
side. It didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
That's
cheap
too
crap
bad.
made in China. What do you expect?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
I expect superior quality coming from China.
Sure.
Hey, Brendan, how you doing? Welcome back, sir. How was your vacation or trip you took last week?
It was you know what? It was really fun. My
Until you had to fly back home and you couldn't fly back home?
Yeah, no, we got stuck at the airport for 4 hours with a toddler, then had the 3-hour flight on top of that. All because what they said was the lavatory got broke. I'm not sure what or how that happened, but yeah, they had to fetch us a whole different plane, so we were stuck there for God knows. But I mean, like, credit to Dever, shout out to him. He didn't melt down, but like twice, which I mean, for a 1-year-old is pretty damn
Not bad.
impressive. Yeah, exactly. So that happened, and then today he got sent home because he threw up. What they called forceful vomiting.
Oh, I thought he dropped a few N-bombs. That's the reason why they sent him home.
Well, he does that all the time, and they don't really, it's like they're used to it now. So, but no, the vomiting they can't take. It's a pretty anti-woke school. So,
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You don't want him saying like Nancy Pelosi or something like that when he comes home.
right, exactly. We don't tolerate that kind of language in this house.
Yep.
We don't say
Wise.
or Barbara Streisand or those are words we did last game.
Babua. God, that episode of South Park was so good.
It was.
It's a Robert Smith.
Robert Smith. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the laboratory was broken on your plane because of CloudStrike.
Yeah,
Yes,
I thought about
they
that
broke the
too.
shit.
But I mean, like, it seems like a lot of they're either getting pushed back or something's going on. Like, Delta had to cancel a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
something's weird. Something weird's going on.
Yeah, something
That
weird
weird
is
tweet
going
that
on.
went out.
What was that,
Did you
Brahma?
guys see that weird tweet that went out? Probably hit quite a few of our feeds. It was one of the like conspiracy type tweets, but it was like, absolutely do not fly this week.
Oh
Stay
yeah.
off of planes at all costs.
Oh,
That
I
kind of
saw
thing.
that. Yeah.
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 Why?
I don't know why. Just weird, crazy conspiracy tweet type thing.
I mean, that's just kind of good advice in general at this point, considering the state of the airline industry.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. There was a time. It's about trying to think if it was like maybe 10 years ago, or close to it. I had to fly to Dallas, and the same issue that you ran into, Brandon, the laboratory is broken. It's like, dude, this is like an hour flight. There's like still another functioning bathroom. I'm sure we'll be fine. And they like legit canceled it.
Yeah,
And,
right.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon and I were going back and forth on Twitter about this, and the toilet is one of the few areas on the plane that has a direct interface with the outside of the plane. Right? So blue turds of death falling from the sky, that kind of stuff, right? So if that seal isn't working, you don't really want to fly, because then everybody inside will be sucked out through the toilet when you get up to pressurized stuff and everything. That's why and it's code name for a lot of other things. So
Blue Doom, big one of them.
and stuff. Yeah. Well, no, them saying that the lavatory is a problem is code name for what they tell passengers when they don't want to tell them things like, we need to replace the engine.
Yeah.
Or
had a
there's an
bird
unknown
strike.
error. Right. There's an unknown error in the software. That kind of stuff.
Indeed.
We landed
Tox,
on
can
manual.
you look into this? So Lindsay says breaking at least one Chinese and one Russian bomber were chased out of Alaskan airspace.
I would not be surprised. That's probably been happening a lot, and they're just now doing. Oh man, why is that on there?
There was 3 ships. I do know that today. That was off Alaska. No.
So
Yeah.
we'll chase planes off, but not balloons.
Not balloons, not spy balloons.
Not boats either, not ships.
Yeah, it's getting kind of weird, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Shit's getting kind of weird. Yeah.
So this is true, apparently. So let's see. This is in Stars and Stripes. So that is pretty much an official website, right?
Stars and Stripes, I believe so.
NORAD. Jets intercept 2 Russian and 2 Chinese bombers off the Alaskan coast. So
Check
North
raw
American
news
Aerospace
alerts and
Defense Command.
Disclosed TV on Twitter. Both
Says
reported
has
on it.
detected, tracked, and intercepted 4 bombers, 2 Russian and 2 Chinese, flying near Alaska on Wednesday. The
Wow.
issue is that they're coordinated. The Russian Tu-95Ss, which are those prop jobs, and the Chinese H-6s were operating in the Alaska Air Defense Identification Zone, but did not enter American or Canadian sovereign airspace. So they went to the identification zone, and that's where you go identify yourself, who are you, and all that. And they do all those things from there. Okay.
They're checking to see if anybody's actually in the presidency right now.
Yep, pretty much. That's what it is. They're like, proof
Yeah,
of
it-
life.
What
Proof
can
of
we get
life.
away
I
with
wouldn't
at
even
this
say
point?
proof of life, but just to see, I guess, to see if we'd react or whatnot. I mean, yeah, like I said, shit is weird, dude. I mean, first we had rumors that there's a possibility the president's dead. And now there's kind of proof of life because, we saw him on video. Was it like yesterday
So
or
pre-recorded
today?
on video?
We saw.
Well, no, that's different. The pre-recording stuff, that's happening tonight, or it already happened. I don't know if you guys watched it or not.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw it.
And it looked like the very stretched, tight skin version of Biden.
So it was body double number 3.
Yeah. The the one that's had Botox multiple times.
Yeah. I created a video not long ago about an AI Joe Biden script, and I created like a really weird, super grinned Joe Biden, and it looked exactly like that. Like just really, like that. It looked almost unnatural.
All right,
He is unnatural.
before we talk about that, let's pull up this.
I was reading
thing
that
you got.
Stars and Stripes thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm reading Stars and Stripes about the bombers, and then this headline: Coast Guard must rebuild public trust after sex assault scandal to improve recruiting. All right, so they have the sex assault scandal to try and improve their recruiting? Was that the point? This just, yeah.
It's
So
kind
there
of
you
weird.
go.
Kind of weird headline.
Hang on. What was sex assault? Like it's the Coast Guard. So I mean, who is doing the assaulting and who is being assaulted?
Exactly. What is that?
And you can't tell me anybody was trying to assault whatever's on the screen.
That is Admiral Linda
That's what I'm
Fagan,
saying.
the commandant of the Coast Guard.
It seems like it's a really
fantastic.
It's kind of a gay hookup, is kind of what I'm getting at. A gay trans hookup at this point.
It is. It is.
It's like, oh, he's gonna assault me. Oh my god. Please, no.
You do that all too well.
So one of the things that happened recently, and I'm gonna play this because this is just absolutely hilarious.
Bunker's funny.
Is they think that when Joe called in to Kamala's speech the other day, apparently it might be AI.
I think we all said that.
Yeah. Well, the
Didn't
thing
sound
that's
like his
interesting
normal
about
speech
it,
pattern, and his voice was wetter than usual. Like there was spit in his voice.
well, no, I remember you guys talking about it, and it's interesting because the guy actually uploads the clip to 11 Labs, and it's like, yep, AI, 90%,
98%.
likely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we go.
I know yesterday's news was surprising and it was hard for you to hear, but it was the right thing to do.
See if I can.
I know it's hard because you poured your heart and soul into me.
Okay. Let's just go on old 11 Labs and see if that's really all they probably used for this. So, upload. There we go. And let's see what we got.
98%.
Yeah, looks like they didn't even really try.
Wow.
That is absolutely crazy. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised because, it's current year and current year is insane. But yeah, a lot of people said that was. Go ahead.
The only shocking thing is they went with one that might actually cost money instead of like Voice Meter and do it for free.
I don't know. I mean, 11 Labs is pretty solid. So, I mean, I trust that one too. But yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely fucking insane that this technology is going to be used to dupe the shit out of people, right? I mean, this is stuff we talked about. This is not breaking news or anything, but it's just like if Joe did actually die, they literally could just continue on having him be president using AI at this point. I
don't want to be like a conspiracy theorist kind of guy, but I mean, like, I don't think that they're above.
Might as well be.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think that they're above using body doubles and AI voices.
No.
Do y'all remember when they were trying to get Hillary Clinton into that van?
Yes.
Back in 2016. And
yeah, I remember, and she looked feeble as fuck.
He wasn't all there.
Well, like an hour or 2 hours later, she was like walking on the street looking like, hi, ah, but for some reason it didn't look quite the exact same as Hillary Clinton. Do y'all remember that?
I don't remember that part, but I do remember her looking really feeble and being helped into the van.
Yeah.
She did not look very good.
So go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I vaguely remember something about her being on the streets, but like I said, it's been a while. What really stuck in my mind was the fact that she had two, I don't know if they're Secret Service, but two men help her into the van.
Yeah, that's what they were holding her up and then like letting her in. But then like later on, she was at she was at Chelsea's apartment, her daughter, and she was walking on the street and she was waving to the cameras and she was big smiles and look, there was no one around her. She was like, able to assist herself and walk around. She didn't need any help. But for some reason, I just remember looking at that photo and just being like, for some reason, this does not look. I mean, it looks like Hillary Clinton, like very, very similar, but not quite there.
Yeah, looks kind of weird.
And so I have no doubt that they, in times that, they try to use body doubles. Go ahead.
I think from a security standpoint, it makes sense, right? I think the problem is that when those body doubles are being used to give the illusion that the president is functional, that's the thing that's scary. I got to get this from Lindsay real quick, and I'll also get Pinochet's comment. He says, yeah, definitely would be a good time to start buying ammo now. Why are you waiting till now? That would be my question.
Buy it.
Yeah. Dude, I've been stacking magazines since 2017. I'll be honest. I've been doing it for a while just because, even back then, it's like, shit's going to get fucking crazy. Especially when Antifa started really becoming a thing. It's just like, yeah.
They're not a thing. They're an idea.
Yeah. They're an idea. They're
That idea
really
caused an
fucking bad
insurrection
idea.
today at the Capitol, an actual insurrection.
Lindsay, I picked a bad week to stop sniffing glue.
Haven't we all? All right. Pinochet says it isn't sexist or racist to point out her family was the wealthiest Caribbean slavers. Yeah. It definitely runs in the family because she had a nasty habit of using slave labor when she was AG in California. She would not, even though people basically they served her sentence, she kept people longer so she could use them as free labor. That's called slavery, by the way. And the fact that no one's calling that out is beyond me.
It was she wouldn't parole people. She would make them serve out the full sentence.
That too.
She couldn't keep them past their sentence, but she could keep them past parole and deny parole so that
they were doing stuff like that, though. I mean, she legit was holding people longer than they were supposed to be there.
There was that guy on death row she kept, and even though there was evidence exonerating him, and she was forced to let him go.
Her office was forced to let her to let him go.
Yeah.
All right.
Evil woman.
Yes, that was actually Tom Connors as the voice double for Uncle Joe. Pinochet also says, I was kind of paying attention. Did Biden actually even mention dropping out? I didn't catch it. So I honestly don't know.
He said it in a roundabout way.
Yeah, he said it was the greatest honor of his life to be the president. He's got full support behind his great vice president, Kamala Harris. I mean, so without saying I'm out of the election, he pretty much said it. Or at least strange, tight-skinned faced Biden said it.
Maybe it was just a generic speech about something that he did 3 or 4 months ago.
Now, he's got bruises on his lower chin. I think it was him.
You think it was actually him?
Yeah, the hand movements and stuff. And
Well, the thing that's so weird about it's some of the speculation of the reason why he had a medical episode when he was flying to Vegas is because of all the uppers they're giving him, all the drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying mini stroke, and even Brandon, your boss, confirmed that with people on the ground in Vegas. From what she tweeted out yesterday.
Yeah.
Or at least stroke-like symptoms.
Yeah, and then
an OD of some sort of upper drug is exact. I mean, we all knew that was eventually going to happen, though. His body, as frail as it was, could only take that for so long. Which is why I'm surprised they didn't try to have him drop out sooner. The only thing that I could think would keep him in is the fact that, no, not just Jill. I mean, yeah, Jill, but not just Jill. Just the fact that if they abdicate power right now, they run the risk, the entire Biden family runs the risk of having all of their crimes found out. Because think about it this way. If you are the Democrat Party and you're trying to recover your name, not just Biden administration's name, your DNC name, the thing that you would do is suddenly take the Biden out of the picture, the Biden family out of the picture, blame everything on them, expose their crimes to make them a villain, and then be like, "Oh, this is why everything got screwed up. It wasn't us, the Democrats. It was them. It was the Biden administration. They made us do it. And look at all the stuff that they were up to." So I could see them throwing them under the bus. The only issue is that what's that?
We're at the throw under the bus point.
Right, exactly.
Well, do you think that they did that article on Monday on purpose to let them know if they tried to pull something this week that it would be over? Because magically, the ghostwriter interview showed up. Was found by the FBI.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wait.
I took that as a warning to them.
What are you talking about, Bill?
That he had classified documents. They basically said they couldn't reveal the stuff from the ghostwriter because there was so much classified documents that he showed the ghostwriter that everything in that story has classified information in it.
Okay, what? I missed the ghostwriter story. Enlighten me.
Go for it, Bill.
He interviewed with ghostwriter 2017. Monday they said we found some of the stuff, the recordings with the ghostwriter, but he revealed classified information on it. That's the way I took it, was recordings, and there was classified information in it, but they couldn't reveal it. But then I did say that if they did the transcripts, most of it would be redacted.
Well, it's easy. You just have the FBI come in with printed sheets that say top secret, lay it on a bunch of papers, and then take a photo of it saying, "Here's your proof."
Why would they do that?
Oh, I have no idea.
They wouldn't do that. They only do that in Florida.
Well, they only do that in Florida.
Underwear.
And they only do that because they obviously can't have the real classified documents in that photo. What are you guys thinking? Jeez. That's crazy. I didn't hear about that.
That's crazy talk.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking weird shit, man. My favorite coming from not you, Brandon, but Fauci over at Red State. This is something I thought was really fucking interesting.
Fauci at Red State?
Bonchichi. Yeah. So I distinctly remember Kamala Harris being called the border czar years ago when Joe put her in charge. And apparently Axios is trying to redact that, saying, "Oh, it's just the far right that's calling her the border czar." Oh, wait, we reported on it years ago. Oops.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's what led to the "do not come" speech.
Yes.
That's what led to that whole interview where I think we talked about this. What was that, Monday? But that's the whole interview where she was like, they were like, "Well, you haven't been to the border yet." She was like, "Yeah, and I haven't been to Europe
either."
Because those things equate when you're in charge of the border.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that Biden may have never said the word czar does not mean anything when he actually put her in charge of the border crisis.
But that's something
the
that's
thing
been
that they were all calling
years,
a border
though.
crisis at the time.
Well, it's like we had a drug czar. I mean, under Bush, right? I mean, this isn't like a term that has never been used before. Right. So the fact that they're immediately trying to fucking walk this shit back. I mean, how old was that Axios article?
So the original one was written, I think, in 2021.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. And I covered it actually in an article. The Bonchi's actually alley-ooping on my article.
Okay.
About it.
Bastard.
Yeah, I know, son of a bitch. I was supposed to give an update too, but he stole that from me, and I'm gonna kill him. Just kidding. I love Bonchi. So it was originally written in 2021. Where it basically, they said themselves border czar. In fact, they're not the only ones that said border czar. If you go back into my article, you'll see that it was other news organizations calling her the border czar as well. Like czar was pretty much a common used term, like you just said.
Yes.
And so now they're trying to say, oh, well, she was never considered a border czar. That was never what she was. While also saying at the same time that she was put in charge of the border. What they're trying to do is what many fact-checking organizations will do is they'll hyper-focus on one little aspect of a story and try to make that a big deal in order to distract from the main point. So in this case, it's, well, she was never officially coined the border czar. Well, she was put in charge of the border, though.
I mean, it's not like an
his
official
name's
title.
Czar or
It's just something that was used, right? I mean, it's
correct.
Well, they're kind of like unofficial cabinet members.
right.
I mean, because cabinet members actually have to be approved. They can name czars for anything and devote money to it without having any vote, is my understanding. I mean, they're basically an unofficial cabinet if you name them a czar.
Yeah.
They're
Correct.
in charge. They have the resources. They can do what they want.
Right. Basically what a czar is.
So yeah, she definitely, like, regardless of what you could call her, the border whore, it doesn't matter. She was the one in charge of the border, and she failed. The hundreds of thousands of deaths from fentanyl, the rapes and murders of of everyone from children to grown ass adults and moms and stuff. That's on Kamala Harris, but that's what they're trying to distract you from. Well, she was never the border czar. She was in charge of the border.
Yeah,
If
she was
you
fucking in
remember,
charge of the border.
thing that she did do was go to Mexico City and then Guatemala so that she could address the roots of the problem, which was climate change and people being poor.
Yes.
That's
Racism.
the reason for the border crisis. But there's no reason to actually go to the border because that would just be for show, I think.
Didn't
is what
she
had said.
eventually go to the border? Did someone? Because
No,
Donald
she-
Trump.
I
Donald
don't
Trump.
know that
Yes, she
she's
did.
gone
She
to the
did.
border
Donald
until
Trump went
today
to the
or
border.
yesterday.
She went to El
Donald Trump announced-
Paso.
Yeah, Donald Trump announced he was going to the border to check it out, and then that suddenly got the Biden administration's keisters moving, and they were like,
that
we're
does
going
same
to get
thing
down
with-
there first.
With Palestine, was it Ohio, Palestine, Ohio, or where
Yeah.
they had that train derailment?
The train derailment.
Yeah, for like days and days, the Biden admin wouldn't send anyone there. So Trump goes and like buys people, food and whatnot, and
Water.
suddenly they send booty judge out there, or booty juice out there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Biden
it's
swore
funny
that
how-
he would go and never did.
Yep.
The party of not Trump is doing everything Trump does,
Yeah,
except all the right things that they should be doing the first.
Yeah. Yeah, this is crazy. But I got a question for you guys. So if Kamala does manage to become the nominee and by the grace of God or Satan, whatever you want to say, manages to win, would that make her the whore in chief?
Yes, it would.
That'd be kinda-
Now, if she chooses Buttigieg as her running mate, does that mean that it'll be Harry Butt 2024?
It'll be two people who suck their way to the top.
There it is.
It's accurate though.
Yeah.
That's
All
a
right.
sticky situation. Both of them have taken it in the face. That's all we
I mean,
know.
chances are the only reason she's looking at him as an option is because he's the only one that she will not drop down on her knees for.
Damn.
All right, Randall Orser. PBD podcast had an FBI expert talk about masks, and it was pretty scary how close they can get someone to look like the target. Yeah, I saw something on Twitter too. I scrolled past it. I wish I paid more attention, where they're kind of like demonstrating masks, and it was like they looked fucking real. It was
Yeah,
pretty
like-
insane.
Like Mission Impossible, just
Yeah.
not quite as easy to make as in Mission Impossible, maybe.
Right.
But now
like
that we've
legit
got
Mission
AI
Impossible.
voice stuff, I mean, you could change the voice now too. I mean,
Yep.
that was the unrealistic part back in the day when Mission Impossible came out. Sure, you could make the mask,
Yep.
but doing the voice and everything, that would have been much harder to think about happening until recently, where you've got AI voice modulation.
Yep. And that technology's here, man. It's just going to get better. This is the worst it's ever going to be, as they say. Pinochet's Helicopter Tours says, remember Gab? Well, Gab received a warrant to search an account linked to the rally shooter. He hated Trump. Tabra posted on X. LOL.
Imagine my shock.
Yeah. That I'm not surprised in the slightest. And Agmar, what's up, Agmar, says Hal 3000 is running the White House. Yeah.
Like,
All accurate.
well, Obama 3000.
Well, yeah, it's technically Obama, but yeah. Well, I mean, what can you do at this point? Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, this shit is weird. Just look at the chain of events since, a week ago, or I guess it's a week ago at this point.
Week and a half ago.
Yeah, week and a half.
Shooting.
Attempted attack on the president. Joe Biden going MIA. People weren't sure if he was alive or dead, and I guess people aren't sure whether he's still alive or dead. It's kind of weird. A pre-recorded speech that he gives today, I guess, so they can heavily edit. And then you have Axios, what we're talking about right here, going and trying to, I guess, rehab. Is that what they're trying to do here, Brandon? Rehab her image?
Yeah.
I mean, why would they say this? I mean, the issue is that it's going to be really fucking hard to rehab her image, because all you have to do is just play that clip of Tulsi Gabbard just destroying her during the Democratic debate.
Yeah, that's really all you need.
Yep.
Yeah,
But that was left on left violence.
I don't think I kind of disagree. I don't think it's gonna be that simple. You guys gotta forget there's gonna be a lot of people who will vote for Kamala Harris simply based on the fact that she's a woman, and there's a lot of morons out there. And I mean,
the question is, are those people going to go to the polls? And then the question is, does it matter because their votes have already been harvested? That's the question.
Well,
you don't have to go out and vote if you know that.
Trump's whole spiel is he wants to make it too big to rig, and that way, by the time he gets back in office, he can make these changes. So I think and I know some states on their own accords have made changes, but as far as a national thing, he wants to change the national, because I know Georgia actually reversed course. Georgia is they're doing a hand counted. And I know they're requiring ID. So I know Georgia's actually doing stuff, and I know Arizona is too. I haven't heard anything about Nevada though changing, or Michigan or Wisconsin. Those are swing states
Georgia,
too, if I remember correctly.
I'm not sure if in Georgia that was statewide or a county is saying that they're doing that.
Oh, you're talking about Fulton County?
I don't know which county. I seem to recall them saying that a county was doing it that way, but I don't know if it was a statewide thing. It could be, but I mean,
either way,
even the numbers that they're putting out trying to make her look good, like that, the stuff that came out today, the one poll that came out that has her leading by like 12 points is absolute BS. It was oversampled.
Whether it is or is not, or is not, we should.
Well, the important one, Nick,
like we're in the lead, because you still got to take this so serious. She's got a lot of rich people who are going to keep funding her. And they're going to rely on all the emotions and all the isphobes and isms in the book. So you still got to play this game like she is a worthy player. Even though we know that she's not, but you got to still take this stuff seriously, because
the important poll that came out was the youth one, though. It was showing like Trump had 37% in the youth, and they're trying to tout that as bad for Trump, good for Kamala. That's like an 8-point bump for Trump from last election.
And when you pair that with the bump from the black community, which is
dude, did you
see the one from CNN? Are you talking about the one from CNN, Broma?
Yeah, which was also an online poll, but
yeah,
I mean, so they're not trustworthy. It's likely voters amongst a certain age group, like 18 to 30. Yeah. I mean, it's completely untrustworthy. But I mean, that's the one that was untrustworthy. The one that came out specifically about the youth vote, suddenly shifting to Kamala. It's like, no, if you go look at the numbers, that is an 8 or 9 point shift to Trump from the last election.
Right.
The youth is, even though the numbers are so lopsided, it was like 64 to 36 or something, Kamala versus Trump. Mm-hmm. That 36 is a jump from like 24 or 28, something like that, in the last election. Those numbers aren't good for her. What it's showing is the youth is not getting right on board with her, especially youthful males. And Brandon, you wrote about it.
I was going to say, Brandon, you wrote an article about this.
Yeah, very recently. That they think that, because they got rid of the old guy and they brought in a younger woman, that suddenly the male youth is going to come crawling back. I mean, they're out of their minds. They've been telling them for ages now that you are evil. You are part of the problem. You're problematic. Useless. You're a rapist in waiting. You know, choose the bear, and like they're suddenly going to go, oh, a woman, great. Hey, got my vote. Like, no,
Short-term memory.
You're
and
out
one
of
of the
your
most
mind.
unlikable women on the planet.
They are trying to rely on short-term memory, but I'm sorry, like you can't just sit there and I'm sorry, you remember a beating you received.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like young men, not even just young men on this panel, we've been told that we're horrible for years, all our lives, even commercials. Like we're the idiots in the commercials. We're always coming second to our wives. We're
The
dumb.
sitcoms.
Yeah, exactly.
Dads who don't leave
father
are
in the
stupid.
sitcoms.
Exactly.
Used to be respected father. My Three Sons, Ozzie and Harriet, Cosby Show, right? And even to some extent, though, the Jeffersons, he was a little bit buffoonish and stuff from there. But Sanford and Son, he was still pretty strong. They just had adversarial relationships with women, and sometimes, and then all in the family.
A lot of people blame Married with Children for that, because that's really where you kind of have like the loser deadbeat dad.
But you know what?
Even then,
he was still. I remember
he
that
was a shoe smells. He owned a house.
Yeah.
Right. He had a car.
And he was still the leader of the family.
Yes,
he was still the family lead.
The Simpsons was the one where I would
say it was the Simpsons.
Saw Homer was a complete idiot, and everybody else in the house was smarter than him.
Right.
Yeah.
I would.
Al Bundy was a loser, but he was still leading his family, even though it was a loser.
Both the
family.
Kevin James sitcoms, right?
Homer would still
King
have
of Queens.
moments of where he would
King of Queens.
show why he's devoted to Marge. Also, let's not forget Maggie's first word in The Simpsons was "daddy," because Bart and Lisa, Bart addresses him by Homer, and then Lisa says "dad" reluctantly, and Maggie's first word was "daddy." Is when she took out the pacifier after they left the room when she went to bed, and then she said "daddy," and then the episode closed.
Yeah.
So like there is quite a bit of like good moments of redemption for Homer.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well,
just
I
like
think
there are for Peter, but I mean like
he's a
in
buffoon.
Family Guy. But I would say that overall the message, that was pushed from the 90s on was.
Well, I think a lot of it is that having stuff like that isn't a big deal if you have other stuff to counterbalance it. Like, I'm not saying that the dad has to be the strong figure in every show, but it's like you're fucking doing it in everything now, and that's kind of the issue.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I would like to see one commercial where like a woman and a man are competing, and suddenly the man comes out on top, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like there's this one commercial that I keep seeing recently. And it's like, I forget what the product is for, but they sit down at the table for a family meeting. And one of them has to go for some reason because it's too expensive, yada, yada, yada. And the mother can't go because of her career. She's the breadwinner. And, the kids can't go for one reason or another. Oh, that leaves dad. You're useless. Get out.
Yeah.
And I'm like.
But they keep the 3 dogs and cat, right?
I'm sure.
What commercial was this?
I'm trying to remember the product, but it was like very, very, very recent. It might even still be airing. But I just remember watching it and just being like, fuck you. Like I'm over it, man. Like the dad is like the deadbeat and or the useless most useless member of the family.
Bad dad trope. I know that's like one of the things that really pisses Gary off. He's been pointing that shit out for years.
Oh, no, it's something that I've written about multiple times. It's so infuriating to watch. But I mean, like I get it from a corporate standpoint because what is the number one who does most of the purchasing in the home?
Women do.
Women. So they're trying to sell to women, which I get. But in doing so, they have created an entire generation of women who believe that they are smarter,
McQueen.
more, McQueen, more important than everyone else. So it's a sense of entitlement that they have delivered to women, a sense of superiority, and it's horrible. It's horrible for men. It's horrible for families.
Yep.
But back to the original question, comics, what is the rehab that's going on? They're trying to make her the cool, and this isn't necessarily the cool thing, but this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to rebrand her as the quirky, cool wine aunt. The one that drinks wine in the afternoon and has a whole bunch of quirkiness to her. And it's not just because she's freaking retarded and cackles at everything. It's because no, she's hip, she's with it. She's they've started this whole brat movement, which is
I saw that.
like the whole Gen Z thing. It's like the summer of the brat this year, not the hot girl summer or anything else. She rebranded her whole Twitter account or the Kamala HQ in the brat colors, and she's trying to connect with Gen Z that way, and they're trying to rebrand her as not being a complete freaking idiot.
It's so
and
Hillary Clinton.
Not just laughing at everything inappropriately, into being no, she's always been pretty hip and with it. I mean,
though I would believe she does carry hot sauce in her purse, as opposed to Hillary.
I'm trying to remember, Tox, did you respond to something? I saw this on Twitter, and it was like something that was like complete horseshit. No, it was Brooklyn Dad. Brooklyn Dad Define. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find a tweet, but it's absolutely hilarious because he's like
Define L's.
Yeah,
was it Define L's?
No, it wasn't Define L's. Basically, he was saying that it was like a middle America bar with a bunch of rednecks, and they're talking about, you know what, that Kamala Harris
I saw
so
that
bad. And it's like
let's give her a chance. She's pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's like that's fucking horseshit.
Some woman posted that this is my husband. He got his GED. He's a carpenter. He rides a Harley. Does this. He's voting for Kamala Harris, and I just wanted to reply to that back and go, he's voting for Kamala Harris like he's been faithful to you for the last 15 years.
Yeah,
that's really what I put, because that guy ain't just fucking you.
It's like the JoJo from Jersey one where she's like, and my 12-year-old daughter walked in after she heard that Biden had dropped out, and she said, "Who's going to lead us now?" And I told her, "Kamala is." And she rejoiced and screamed, "I'm voting for Kamala," even though she's 12 years old. I mean, they're all freaking retarded.
Well, JoJo and Brooklyn Dad are both, I think, paid shills, just like Harry Sisson.
Oh, yeah. They
absolutely.
Yeah.
And the
Harry, though, is very
Krasensteins, even though they haven't been, pinpointed as being on the payroll, they do the exact same crap.
Yeah.
Both of them.
And I never believed that my son or my daughter, my 5-year-old said, like,
yeah,
you're just okay. Your 5-year-old's an idiot.
My 5-year-old put this sign on his door that said, "Until President Trump is impeached, I'm not coming out of my room," and everything is spelled wrong in Crown, so it looks like a kid wrote it. It's like, yep, that's what's going on. It's either that or it's child abuse. I mean,
you will
if you've
make
got your
this
kid
sign
that
now.
scared of Republicans, it's child abuse.
For real. That's it. Yes, exactly. Ultimately, that's what it is. You're abusing your child. You're scaring them nightly. There's like a Trump under their bed.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what happened with Greta Thunberg. I mean, she's, not quite there mentally. What does she have? Asperger's, maybe?
Yeah, she has Asperger's.
I mean, they scared the living crap out of her, saying that the world was going to end, and convinced her of that, and then put speeches in front of her after they basically got her brainwashed enough to go along with that.
And now she's a pro-Hamas protester.
Is that what she's doing now? She's
yeah.
protesting for Hamas.
You got to shift
because Stop Oil's really working.
Yep.
And you have to bust them in because today they rode the big Greyhounds into town.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I know what women want. I know what women voters want. I really do.
Tell us what they want.
They want that guy from Twister in a flannel shirt. That's
Glenn Powell.
Yes, they want Glenn Powell in a flannel shirt, and they want a toothbrush.
I'm not even
toothbrush
gay
with
and I
extra
want that.
batteries. Yeah.
I saw a movie last night.
I used to look like him once.
Brandon.
I saw Twisters last night, and I'll be quick about it. And Glenn Powell was so charming and infectious in Twisters that anytime there was a scene without him in the movie, I felt there was a slight quality dip in the movie because of how good he is.
Don't you just want to kiss him on his cheekbone? It's
he's
weird.
one of those guys who actually has what it takes to become a huge star if they utilize him correctly.
We were talking about that Monday. Yeah, he has what it takes to be a good star.
Exactly what it takes.
He is a direct student of Matthew McConaughey. They are actually friends. Together.
I have to get this. This is funny.
Is this Pinochet's? The one you're pulling up?
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah. As I tucked in my unborn child last night, he said, with tears in his manly eyes, "Don't believe a thing the Democrats say."
Yeah, Pinochet's sperm comes out based. So there you go. Boom. Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're on the other side going, I tucked in my unborn child and it said, why did you kill me?
Why did you abort me?
Oh, there it is.
So,
why did I not be born, Papa?
So did you guys see that BLM is blasting the Democratic Party right now?
Oh, screw them. Oh,
wow,
that is so good.
That is
sucks to be you.
Fucking funny, because despite what you have to say, or anyone has to say, which I most likely will agree with you on, what BLM, at least their Twitter account is saying, is actually pretty fucking based. The idea that what they've done without a primary, they basically have gone and picked a candidate for you.
True, but it's a layered thing because it's also BLM. They would love Trump to be back in power because that's when they were getting donations. That BLM has been a non-factor during Biden's time because they haven't called upon them to do anything.
Well, it's not just that though. It's the fact that Black Lives Matter is so like buried in financial scandals.
But that's why they need money again. They need Trump in power so that they start getting donations again because they'll figure out some way to do it.
Are you saying that Black Lives Matter can't get in the air?
Yeah, they can't breathe.
Okay, sorry.
Are you saying there's a knee on their neck because they were exposed for being frauds?
Yeah, it's the boots on their neck. That's what it is.
Yeah.
They're just
Dude, I honestly, even if Trump wins, I don't see them taking off like they did last time because they were basically outed as scammers and frauds. Yeah. And what made them big in 2020 was all the corporate donations they were getting from Amazon and these other large corporations because they pledged to fight racism.
Yeah.
So I just don't see it this time around because we've had that one shooting. We briefly talked about it after the show on Monday. What was that? Well, that was Chicago, right? Where that took place, Brahma?
I believe so. Sonia something.
It was
Springfield, wasn't it?
Springfield, Illinois.
Or a suburb.
Springfield, Illinois. But okay, all right. When the assassination attempt happened, there were 13 people killed in Chicago. Okay, so yeah, and they're like, "Oh, look what gun violence did." No, we see it every day. So
yeah.
I think BLM is yesterday's news, and I think Dearest is actually right. Hamas and the Islamic activists is the new BLM.
Yeah,
that's why you see the same act.
Exactly what it is.
Look at all those pride parades that got interrupted by Hamas supporters. There was not one word about it on the news. If that were MAGA or the feds dressing up as MAGA or anything else, they would have been all over that. But because it was Hamas crowd, they know that is a very left-driven crowd, so they kept quiet about it.
Correct. Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. It's absolutely this is the new BLM. But the problem is that there's not a lot of rich Jewish people who are going to contribute to any kind of actual official, Palestine or anti-Israel organization, which is why it's not getting the same. And I'm not just obviously blaming rich Jewish people. Anti-Semitism is really hard to sell.
Yeah,
right.
Especially
but not Netanyahu's said something today about that.
Yeah, it's civilization versus barbarianism.
Right.
Yeah. And he's
he
right.
also said all of these protesters that gays for Gaza and all that stuff. He said something about, come on over. I'll bring you over.
Yeah,
let you go right over there. We'll see how that happens.
Yeah.
But that's where the Dems have a major issue because even they're split on that. Yes, it may be the new BLM, but all the Dems got behind BLM.
Mm-hmm.
They're split on this one because some of them aren't actual anti-Semites.
Right. Yeah.
And most of them do not want to side with Palestine. Even Biden was having trouble because he's got AOC and, the squad pushing him on, you've got to, come out pro-Palestine. And I don't think even he was willing to go that far. So they've got a major schism within their party about this because there's enough of them that have shown that they're anti-Semitic, and there's enough of them that have shown that they're pro a terrorist group.
Here's what he said. Gays for Hamas is like chicken for KFC. That's what he said. And it is true. And this cycle of protesting by college students, it has been an elitist thing from the beginning. The whole Haight-Ashbury hippie movement and all that stuff. There's nothing worse than a hippie, okay? There's one thing less than a hippie, and I'm not going to talk about them.
Culture Casino?
No, he does.
Oh.
So, but the whole hippie movement were rich white kids.
Yes.
Right? That whole thing, rich white kids that were rebelling against their parents. That's what that was. And they just happened to know what to do or anything to do. They didn't have to go get a job. Mm-hmm. When you are a trust fund or your parents have money and all that stuff, and they buy you an apartment or everything from there, and they give you money to do stuff, all right? You don't have to grow up. You can continue to be a petulant child. But when you have to go out and work, then you grow up, which is why I'm 100% against any government giving people money just for being.
Yeah.
Or, you have a child. Well, let's give you money. No, that doesn't help the child out at all. All right. This whole survival of the fittest thing has been working for billions of years. You're not going to beat it. And capitalism is the ultimate survival of the fittest. What we've kind of forgotten, we thought for survival of the fittest was, okay, we come out of high school like my dad did, able to run 5 miles, able to do 50 pull-ups, able to do 100 sit-ups or 200 sit-ups and 100 push-ups, right? Almost all. You had to do that to graduate high school in the 60s or get a special note from the doctor saying you couldn't do it. Right. And there were different things for women. Well, in the 80s, that all kind of changed to where survival of the fittest is now the survival of the intelligent and the politically astute. It became a media thing. Mm-hmm. So like the Cold War was not a hot war. It was a Cold War. It was a war of attrition from spending. It became an economic war. Now we are in a social justice war.
Unfortunately.
And I'm really surprised. Yeah, we're in a social justice war right now. And I'm really surprised that religious factions, I'll just say that, who over thousands and thousands of years have come up to be zealots to get their way and take over other people and get rid of them, aren't doing anything about it. I'm not seeing the real backlash and the winning in the political realm that religious organizations used to have. Like, you would never see these kind of Palestinian uprising stuffs in the U.S. because of Israel, because there were so many Jewish people here in America, because, let's face it, the Jews have been kicked around for a long time, and any religion that can stay together with having your base of power destroyed so many times, that's some people that are sticking to it. I get it. But we're not seeing them come out in political force to make things happen. Why? Because, and finally, the RNC is starting to say that immigration is the number one thing. I said this a little over a year ago on this channel and was told I was wrong.
No, I didn't say you were wrong. I said that's
we've all said issue. Immigration is
yeah, we all agreed with you. It's just
sure you all were right and I was wrong.
No,
whatever.
That's not what we
whatever.
said.
I know exactly what I said. I wrote it down, and I know what your answers were. I wrote it down. I recorded it. I said the only issue that faced us, the only one that mattered was immigration, and the only one that matters is immigration. The rest of them are just distractions, right? That's what I said. You didn't disagree. You didn't agree with that. Fine.
I didn't agree with that, but I agree it's an issue. I've never said it was never an issue.
It is the only issue that matters. Why? Because the reason that our religious zealots out there are not rising up and being able to do anything politically is that we have 30 million illegal immigrants in this country who do not believe that way anymore. That's why we have people in the streets protesting Palestine. Because we never would have seen that 15, 20 years ago. Never.
I don't know about that, because I would say whether you want to agree with it or not, I don't know. But the only thing worse than a straight white male is a Christian straight white male. We've been demonized to the point of absolutely we can't say anything in society.
Right.
So you're definitely, and that's not just because of immigration. That's because of society. I mean, we all know what the intersectionalism looks like, but I would say the straight white male is demonized to the most, and then the next would be the Christian straight white male or the religious straight white male.
And that, to me, is blaming others for your own problem.
No,
that's
what
I think
the problem
that
exists. That doesn't mean I'm being quiet. It's not blaming anybody. It's what is happening in society.
I don't agree.
Just like
that again is a distraction. It's throwing blame on others for your lack of balls. That's what that is. To me.
So intersectionality is just lack of balls on everybody's part in the whole.
Well, no, to sit there and say that I'm being demonized and all that stuff. That's exactly the same thing, the same argument the SJWs are making. I'm being demonized. I can't do anything. I'm being marginalized. Right? I have
been doing stuff. I have been speaking.
And I'm not
saying
saying
a lack
it's
of balls
you.
on my part. I'm
not saying it's you.
Right, but I'm saying, I mean, you look at the way society is functioning right now. Yeah, it could be lack of balls overall, but it is, you have been put to the bottom. We were just talking about how men feel like they've been put to the bottom. Yeah. And there's other groups of men that have been put further down, I think.
Right. So how I combat that in my life is I don't accept it. Right.
And that's
I don't. Right. I don't. I just go through, if somebody has a problem thinking that I'm some kind of white oppressor, that's them having the problem because they don't know my background.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know anything about me.
Well,
they are judging me by skin.
Well, that's the issue with the identity politics thing is you used to say, don't judge a person until you walk a mile in their shoes. And all that shit's got thrown out the door at this point. It's that, you're pale and male. Remember, pale and male is stale in Hollywood. Okay. I mean, that is something that was actually said by people.
I'll go back to my original point, which is I am shocked that the religious groups in this country are not as vocal as they used to be. And I think part of that is that we have a huge influx of illegal immigration that has shifted the voting bloc. Because it's not so much who yells the loudest. It's how many of you yell the loudest to get people in power to do what you want.
Go ahead, Bill.
I was going to say there are less people that go to church now. If you look historically at the number of people that go to church regularly, attend church, it's gone down.
It's a generational thing.
Well, yeah, it's been systematically. There has been an attempt to systematically dismantle religion in this country.
Right, and then there's progressive Christianity, which is liberal, with very liberal with Christianity attached to it, and they preach the same thing as the SJWs in the churches, and they're promoting this. They're sponsoring illegals. There was in Charlotte, there was 2 gangs in very nice neighborhoods with their sponsors' houses fighting. They thought if they were so in the same country, they could put them in this super nice neighborhood, and they wound up having this big, huge fight, and they had to have 4 different squad units to come in there and clean it out in this very wooded community. So, I mean, it's just been crazy and nutter.
Okay, but none of that addresses the point that I made.
No, I'm just saying that less people aren't going to stand up. But
before the 1940s, there were less people in church. That came out of a secular movement and some other stuff and some communism that was rising up and stuff in this country. Then after World War I and World War II, in the 1950s, and the propaganda that came out of the government around the wholesome family and going to church and do all that stuff and everything, the patronage to churches went up. All right. And then went back down after the 1960s, and it was, love everywhere and all this stuff and the thing, whatever they're doing. And then it went back up in the 80s and 90s, and it went back down. All right. It goes up and down all the time.
We call them revivals.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. So, but that doesn't take away from the point that I'm not seeing religions, all of them, all right, be out there and be active the way that they used to.
Well, I think religions have lost a lot of power over the years, Talks. I mean, I think secularism, for the most part, has taken root. And that's part of the reason why, in my opinion. I mean, Does immigration play a role in it? I have no fucking clue. Maybe. I think it.
But South America tends to be more Catholic than
I was gonna
most of
say,
the rest
but
of the world.
I want to say that a lot of those people that specifically from South American countries, Mexico, whatnot, as Brahma point out, are very Catholic.
It's an America problem.
I don't know that it's those people coming up here.
I'd say it's more of a North America problem.
If the majority of the 30 million are from those areas.
Well, I mean, we do know that it's not just people from South America that are coming in. We have Chinese nationalists, we have terrorists coming in, we have a bunch of different nationalities, not just people from South America. The crazy thing about it is the large amount of Chinese that has been coming over the border illegally, and Biden admin's been like, we're not doing anything about it. Yeah, that shit is insane.
You can't forget how a lot of the stuff with that involves Christianity has been shamed, demonized, basically just endlessly taunted for the last few decades. You took I guess you could say, the God and the religious aspect out of public schools. There's quite a number of factors. Then you got also a lot of celebrities, whether it's in movies, shows, music, who are very outright open about how they feel about religion. So all those things trickle down one after the other, and then boom, you get where we are at today. With
even from the hearing today and what's been going on in Europe and here and everywhere else. I mean, churches are getting burned down to the ground at record numbers in Europe.
Yeah,
it's happening in Canada too.
Rare thing.
Nobody does anything about it. You had in the hearing today, it was brought up, the woman who was just praying outside of an abortion clinic gets arrested. There's a reason that we all stay anonymous on here. It's because of the persecution from the left. I mean, yeah, there are reasons that the Christian right may not be standing up, and it's because the left has the levers of power and will destroy you. The same reason that we stay anonymous. It's not just our jobs, it's because they will destroy you.
Payback is a bitch.
Okay.
That's what I have to say about that. No, I have a friend who was fired from a job because he didn't go to the same Baptist church as the people that he worked for.
Yeah, two wrongs don't make a fucking right, though, dude. I mean, seriously. I agree with you.
And of all the things that I have heard, that is like the only time I've ever heard anything about a Baptist are firing someone else because they'd go to the same church.
Yeah.
It's the first and only time I've ever heard that.
In the 80s and 90s, hundreds of examples of that. If you didn't go to the right church, if you didn't mingle with the right people, it just so happens that it's secular now.
Yeah, it doesn't make it right either.
I'm not saying it's right.
I know, dude. I'm just pointing out both those things are wrong, though.
Right.
It doesn't matter who's doing it. That's bullshit on both sides.
Correct. And they go back to the point, I can't believe that I'm not hearing more out of the religions, the traditional religions in the United States. I can't believe it.
So I'm trying to get to the base of your argument, I guess, because I'm not understanding.
There is no argument. That's the thing.
Okay, the base of your statement.
The base of your point.
Yeah.
Right.
You're wanting the religious right to rise again? Because that seems like the last thing you want.
I don't think
But that seems what you're calling for.
For Tox. I think
you're wanting them to stand up.
Tox, tell me if you're...
I'm just trying to understand your point.
I think Tox is trying to get that people of the very many different religious demographics need to rise up together collectively, even though they're of different religious backgrounds, to push back on it. You tell me if that's what I interpret out of Tox.
Everybody's voice needs to be heard. Okay? Whether they're good, bad, or indifferent.
Okay.
Okay. And for me, no, I don't subscribe to that. I've experienced some of it. I don't like it. It's not for me. I, however, am not actively out there trying to convert people to whatever it is my belief system is. All right? Not for me to say. That's for you. Okay? I've always seen a loud religious voice in America. From the beginning. All right? From the Quakers and the Quakers women that started this individual freedom, civil liberties movement, to Carrie Nation, who got a nation of drunks, okay, and pressured Congress to come up with prohibition and a constitutional amendment against drinking, which took 75% of Congress and the Senate and the states to ratify. So you had to have 75% of the representatives and 75% of the states say drinking's bad, we're going to get rid of it. From a country that Johnny Appleseed was not about planting apples. Johnny Appleseed was the hard cider that Americans drank their way through life, okay, because life was so hard. That religious zealotness, or whatever you want to call it, fervor, where is it?
It's been beaten down.
Yeah, I think it's been beaten out of this country.
So they lost.
You mean the moral majority? Is that who you're talking about?
No. And
okay.
I think
if you really want to get into an argument,
but it's just beaten down.
If you really want to get into an argument with me, tell me that I'm not moral because I don't believe in some fucking religion.
No.
No one's saying that.
Right. So
No,
moral majority and all that stuff comes from a
group,
religious point.
I just meant a group of people that come up together that used to take stands in a large group.
Now, the moral majority is a reference to people who actually believe in morality. It's not saying that somebody who isn't religious isn't moral. It's saying we would like to have.
I've always remembered the moral majority being attached to the evangelical Republicans back in the 80s. That's what I remember it as.
That's where the term came from.
That's
like most terms, it evolves.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Still, where is it? I don't see it. I just don't see that anymore.
I think we're answering. It's beaten down.
Yeah. I think the culture's gotten into the church, too.
It's suppressed at the moment.
Yeah.
It would be nice if it would stand up, but it's suppressed.
So it's been defeated.
And it's not. No.
Yeah, it's not defeated.
Extinguished is defeated. Suppressed is not defeated.
It's not gone. So
as you said, it has risen multiple times throughout the history of the country.
No, I didn't say that.
That's not the same.
I didn't say that.
You just said in multiple different decades the church rose up from.
I didn't say that.
A wane.
God, you don't listen at all, do you? I didn't say that. I said that there has been a long string of religion being heard, it not rising up from and going back down. It has always been there. It has always been the loud voice.
And you talked about the waxing and waning of it during different decades. That's what I'm referring
No. I
to.
talk the waxing and waning of the number of people going to church. It's a different point than the religious zealots.
Okay.
I want to get this real quick because I think it's funny. Deeple101 says, I haven't been paying attention to whatever the fuck was said. I'm utterly lost. Here's $2. Hey, Deeple, welcome to the party. I'm lost too. Bacon is delicious. Kamala and VP is a setup for the DNC with whoever they don't want as a candidate in 28.
That's the thing. That's why Whitmer and Newsom will not accept that position.
Yes.
Yeah,
Buttigieg
totally
maybe
taking 28. Newsom's totally taking 28. I'd be shocked.
No, he's hoping to.
He's hoping, yeah.
That's why Buttigieg is an option, and that's why Mike Steele is an option. Because they're not aspirational enough to go for 2028. Everybody who wants to run later, not going to touch this.
Yeah. I think this year, at least for the Democrats, my opinion is that whoever's nominated is the sacrificial lamb because they know they're not going to win.
Well, what they're trying to do right now, I think, is save the down ballot vote because I think they know that the presidency is probably a lost cause.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, not definitely, again, but probably.
Nick, not everything. I'm not saying it's 100%. I think that's the general sentiment.
Probably. I don't want to get.
Well, I said the exact same thing.
We're not calling red wave.
Yeah, we're not calling red wave. We're not
got to get out and vote.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm telling people get out and vote. Don't sit on your laurels. Don't pay
vote
attention
on the
to the
first
machine.
day you can.
Yes.
Don't wait till election day. We're done with that in the Republican Party until we change the rules. Get out there immediately.
Yes.
So real quick, I'm going to end things on the YouTube side because I do want to play a trailer that has come out recently from Matt Walsh. Am I racist? Yeah,
Yes,
it's pretty
let's do
funny.
this.
So for those of you on the YouTube side,
how many? There's 26 over there. Do you want me to play that thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Before we do that, yes, play the segue.
And I will put the link in the chat.
Sounds
good. That way they get time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk showed this before we went live. Is fucking hilarious.
YouTube, join us here.
All right. And here we go. And now it's time for readings from the book of Dixtradamus. People of the future will reach for the stars. Few will obtain the goal. Many will fail, and a select few will need a step stool to see what is going on. A siren with golden hair will come forth and reveal the secret to long life and happiness. But the age of Hak-Tuah will last only 15 minutes. In the year 2424, the cackling joker from the Caribbean Sea shall arise from her knees, needing a towel, while the applause from the uneducated elites thunders on deaf ears. Hashtag I'm with her, Beans. While the brainless leader is removed, he shall not know it. Rather, he shall eat ice cream on a boat with popping corn, fighting ponies, and his former nursemaid. The great Oracle Fu Manchu shall be unfairly mocked for predicting a scenario of leadership transition of the Great Eagle. All will bow before him in August 2025. A belle from below the Mason-Dixon line will amass great wealth, selling vibrating toothbrushes for women called the Hakami-Tuah. This has been readings from the book of Dixtradamus.
I just love how obvious the music is. Oh man, that shit's hilarious. All right, people of YouTube, head over to the Greed Machine because we're ending it there in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you guys.